What's up, everybody? We're back with another brand new episode of the Last Wave podcast. Today, we're going to do something a little different. Probably start doing what's called, what I'm going to call short waves. It's be short little episodes, just kind of chatting about, news and things going on around the world, that kind of stuff. Obviously, you know where you can find us: Facebook, Twitter, Patreon. Our Last Wave blog is getting a whole lot of hits right now. So really trying to put a lot of effort towards that. But I just want to take a little while and talk about this, 2020, we are, 5, 6 days into it, and we're getting ready for World War III. It seems crazy, but that seems to be where we're at. World War III is like a trending thing on Twitter right now. The millennials are making memes of it. I just don't get the craziness behind it. Basically, if you've been under a rock, what happened is, well, actually, that was a really good pun that I just missed that I just made. But apparently, some protesters, allegedly protesters, uh, attacked a U.S. government facility in Iraq. It turns out Iran was behind it, allegedly. So we took action and used an airstrike on an airport, killing one of Iran's top generals. Now, of course, Iran is, vowing vengeance, and apparently the new guy that took over from that general's position, Ismail Gahani, he's taken the position of the Iran general that we killed, and he said, "God, the Almighty, has promised to get his revenge, and God is the main avenger. Certainly, actions will be taken." And I didn't know God had them kind of ranks. I know he's up there, but I didn't know he had Avenger status. That must be cool. I wonder if he's got like a cool outfit. Apparently something. There's a lot of talk. There's always a lot of talk. They always have something going on. They're always saying something's coming and some attack is coming. I'm here to tell you. The only thing that Iran can do is attack Israel. That's all that they can do. People have got to understand, they've got to know that foreign governments cannot touch U.S. soil. And if they do, then that means they were allowed to. And what really irritates me is people were saying that this is Trump's way of distracting from the impeachment stuff, is starting this war. And that's just bullcrap. If anything, it's I personally believe it's all a distraction. It's all, and maybe it may have been all a distraction to get us to lead to this. As soon as everything finished, we're with the impeachment. He's still got to do the trial, but as soon as everything finished with the main story, all of a sudden we're at war. So, I think they're all bad people. Honestly, pretty much everyone in Washington, as far as politicians go, are not good people. But if this is a distraction, it was done just by the government itself, the U.S. government, to distract from what's going on in our own homes and on our own soil. It's also important to note that you've heard this a lot more, and I noticed that I've definitely noticed it. It's the U.S. government, it's U.S. stuff. It's not the United States of America. And I briefly mentioned this on the Cashless Society video. And I don't know if I'm ever getting the year right. I've really got to research it more. But the United States is not the United States of America. The United States is a corporation founded by European bankers, and it was put in place, gosh, hundreds of years ago. 1871, I think. I could be wrong, but it's been in place for a while. And it's basically like you would get a patent for a business, or that's what it is. We're a business. That's why we have to have social security numbers. That's our employee numbers. That's why we have to have car insurance for ourselves. That's why we have to have car insurance for other people. All this stuff. It's too much to dive into. I need to do an episode just on occult and meanings and symbolism in America. But again, we are U.S. citizens. We're not citizens of the USA. You got to watch for how things are said and the way they use certain terms. But again, I'm getting ahead of myself. World War III. So say that Iran probably nukes Israel, and we go to war with Iran. There probably will be a draft, but I did see one meme that says we're all too fat and broken to get drafted. Well, that's probably true. So I don't know how that'll work, but for any foreign country to actually invade U.S. soil, they would have to launch an EMP of some sort. Um, I mean, it would have. That's the only way they can do it. That's the only way to shut us down somewhere and invade, because no one's ever going to survive an invasion as far as that. So if you're worried about Iran and Iranian troops coming over here, you don't need to worry about that. The one thing people need to be focusing on is this whole thing happening in Virginia, and then really looking into taking people's guns. And I haven't done enough research into that either, because there's so much hearsay. But it sounds like they're getting ready to implement that pretty soon, to where they're going to be taking guns, and anyone who says they don't, anyone who refuses is going to jail. From what I've seen. So that's what we need to be worried about. And if they actually bring UN troops, I did see a couple articles saying that Virginia was talking about bringing in UN troops to assist with this. If they actually do that, then in my opinion, that is that is treason. That is our government bringing in foreign troops to invade our streets. So honestly, that is what people need to be paying attention to. Iran, North Korea, China, they're not going to stroll over here and invade. We're going to open the door and let the UN in, and that's going to be an invasion right there. That's honestly where we need to be more concerned right now than World War III. Um, so yeah, I mean, again, rest easy. They're not just going to pop up and start attacking us, in full scale invasions like we do. And what we need to be paying attention to right now is what's going on in Virginia with the gun confiscation laws. The UN there's been a bill signed in the 1960s that is a plan for the UN to take over and be kind of a world army. And it's a plan to disarm the Russian citizens, which has already happened, and the U.S. citizens, which is obviously what they're working on. Now, this whole time that Trump's been in office, and you haven't heard anything from any other countries, you've only heard how much people hate Trump and how bad Trump is and why he can't spell. That's all you've been inundated with. The UN has actually voted on multiple gun laws, multiple red flag laws. So basically any gun they put on this red flag list, they can go, whoever votes on it, whoever's in this treaty, they can just go in and take those guns. So I mean, everything happened. I don't dislike Trump, but I feel like he's just part of it. He's part of the cycle of the people that are above the president, deep state, whatever you want to call them. And I know this has gone in way into conspiracy theories, but I'm rambling, so bear with me. I'll finish it up soon. Um, I mean, it's crazy. It just seems like something's on the way, something's coming, whether it be World War III or UN troops going through our streets. I mean, we've been seeing it for years. Conspiracy theorists saying, "Hey, what's all these, UN Humvees doing on this train? Why does it look like they're setting up a bunch of concentration camps?" We've been saying this for years. People have been posting articles, and it gets, tabloid news is all it's called. So it's very possible something's coming. I would not worry about it from Iran or Iraq or um, North Korea. None of them. So just be prepared for something. Always keep your heads on a swivel and watch other news sources. Go online. Look up other things that aren't controlled by the six people that control all of America's news. Actually learn something. Don't just watch TV and accept that as truth, because it's all lies. That's why they call it a TV program, because it's there to program you. So, all right, I'll get off my conspiracy horse. That's not really ended up being that short of an episode, but this is our first episode of Short Waves. Just talking about world events and stuff like that. So, as always, thanks for listening. Like and subscribe, and we'll catch you on the next episode.